Can I be heard? Can I be felt? I called it. I said it. Miami was gonna win game two. And now we about to break it down live on the broadcast network. It's your boy Brody. Welcome back. And I'm joined with my man Q. We
What
about to
up?
break down game two. And what a game. What a game. Q, how you doing tonight, brother man?
It was this way better game than last time. I'm here to tell you that your prediction came one Jamal Murray bounce away from being wrong,
Yeah, it sure did.
or at
But
least going into some extra time.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But welcome everybody to the official broadcast network game two NBA Finals recap. It's your boy Brody saying what's up. My man Q here with me. I think Pops is on the line down here. He gonna join us in a few. But man, what a game! The Miami Heat scraped it out, barely, as Q just said, winning 111 to 108 against the Denver Nuggets. Uh, First off, Q, excellent game, back and forth throughout. Just give me some of your initial thoughts, based on the final score.
Biggest takeaway, man, is they did exactly what we was talking about in game one. They forced Jokic to be a scorer instead of a passer, and
Yep,
that was the magic elixir for the night. That and them hitting open shots. That was
yep.
the two things. That was the two biggest takeaways we had from game one that they changed. Shout out to the coaching staff and the mentality of that team because they knew exactly what they had to do, and they did it. Shout out to them.
Yes, for sure. Miami came out early, was aggressive early. At the start of the game, it just felt like they had a different type of intensity, a different mindset. They were a lot more aggressive, a lot more physical, and it showed throughout the entire game, man. It just up and down. They played so much better than they did in game one. It's crazy how the game one was what, Thursday. I'm bad with dates, so excuse me if I
Yeah, it
got the
was
day
Thursday.
wrong. um but for them to make the type of adjustments in the way that they did tonight, it's very impressive. It shows a lot of resilience for this team.
Damn, man. I'm not surprised at all for a single second. It's almost predictable that Miami will be the first team to beat Denver at home this year.
Yeah,
That makes sense. I mean, you have to kill the Miami Heat. That's one thing we've learned. You just can't beat them up and beat them down, and Denver definitely did.
yes.
They could have I literally feel like any other team would have tucked their tail after Jokic did what he did in the third quarter and
Oh
just packed
yeah.
it in. But no, the big spark plug was that the top of that fourth quarter when they sat down Jokic and Duncan came in and had a quick 10. That's what changed the whole complexion of the game.
Yeah, and also in the fourth quarter, what I really liked about Miami was they switched to zone. They gave him another look on defense, which was something
Mm-hmm.
that you could just tell the Denver Nuggets were not prepared for. And it just showed, like, and like you mentioned before with the coaching staff of the Miami Heat, the ability to make in-game adjustments is so important at this stage of the playoffs. And Eric Spoelstra, shout out to him, man. Like you said, shout out to him. He did his thing tonight as a coach, bro. He definitely did.
That's what he does, man. That these uh when I picked the Nuggets in six, it has you got to kill Miami. When I said Miami is six, it's because you just got to kill Miami, bro. They not going. The thing about them is they genuinely believe that they should win the finals. Like they genuinely believe this. They no matter with the eighth seed or not. They came out and did exactly. Jokic only had 4 assists. The MVP of the league is most dangerous when he's passing the ball. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that we talked about that ball movement. I said after game one, if that ball movement continued, they were gonna get swept straight up.
You did.
But they like, hey man, they came out and they let Jokic have his, but their defensive intensity on everybody else was also a big thing. They also didn't let anybody else really get going. There was spots where guys, got their groove on, but Jamal Murray didn't nearly ball out.
No.
like he did in the first game. And Jamal Murray, I feel like he's the end all be all with them. If he's giving Muggs 40, you're not beating Denver.
Right, right. That's an excellent point. And I'm just looking at the stat sheet right now, just looking at the comparison to game one for Miami, especially. Uh Gabe Vincent, 23 points. Game one, he struggled. Max Strus, 14 points after going 0 for 10 in game one. Uh, even Jimmy Butler, although he didn't shoot better than he did in game one, something about the way he was playing tonight and the way he was picking his spots. And I think you were the one that mentioned this, Q, about Jimmy Butler picking his spots. Just how valuable that was tonight and how it carried them over, because in times where Miami needed a bucket, it was Jimmy Butler that had the ball in his hands. And it wasn't necessarily him saying, yo, I'm gonna go out and get this basket. It was like, yo, I'm gonna put people in the right spots. I'm gonna get people in the right position. And yeah, man, it's crazy. It's just wild to me. The turnaround and how different this team looked in this game.
I'm not surprised for a single second, bro. I just did this for 7 games with these dudes. And side note, am I the only one that thinks Shamar Moore, that Gabe Vincent looks like Shamar Moore from Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking the whole game. I was like, look at Shamar Moore out there giving them boys buckets.
Yes.
Cut dude nut with Shamar Moore. But
yes.
hey, man, I'm not surprised, man. Miami got heart. And those free throws by Bam Adebayo were huge at that time. Like, he could have folded. Like, he could have just, if he would have just made one of those free throws, they would have lost.
Right. Right. And honestly, to me, right now, Bam Adebayo has been the most important player for the Miami Heat. It's only been 2 games, but all series.
He's been the most consistent these past 2 games. Offensively, yeah.
But I even
he played better defensively tonight, too.
Yeah, I was gonna say even defensively, because Cody Zeller at this point, God bless you, bro. But
not the answer.
You ain't got no business being on the floor right now. You just don't.
Shout out to Kevin Love. Kevin Love was a little spark plug to start the game for him.
Yeah. It all around. I applaud Miami for making the adjustments that were needed to really. I won't even say just win the game, but to not get blown out, not to lose their morale. Because I felt like at times in game one, you could tell, all right, things weren't falling for them and they just mentally weren't all the way there. But tonight, they was locked in from start to finish.
Yeah. And I wanted to see one more game before I determined that they were too tired, or they finally turned into who we thought they were going to be eventually. Right. I was like, let me see a second game to make sure that. I'm like, no, these dudes, I've come to the conclusion that this is who they are actually. Game 2 is more who they are than game 1. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be, I can tell though, like Jimmy Butler is tired.
Yeah.
Jimmy is tired. So they need those guys to keep playing if they're going to win the finals. Those guys, anytime you have 5 guys in double digits, no matter who they are, it matters.
Right. And let's see, Pops is on the line. Pops, you there? Or is you there? You just watch it with?
Yeah, I'm just listening. I didn't watch the game. So,
okay.
So I watched bits and pieces. So for the most part, what I saw early on, Miami came out shooting the ball well, hitting the threes. And like you all said, Bam again was doing his thing on the offense, but he picked up the intensity on defense. And then I saw a little stretch of that third quarter, where the Joker kind of, was doing his thing. But Jamal Murray, to me, just I'm assuming it was, Jimmy Butler being on him. But, in order for them to win, it can't just be the Joker. It's Jamal Murray has got to, heavily contribute for Denver to beat them.
Yeah. And he had, now tonight it just seemed like he struggled out the gate. I don't think he even really scored his first bucket until the second quarter.
Yeah.
It's wild to me how good of a player Jamal Murray is and how much we look at him as a weapon and a threat for Denver. But sometimes he is inconsistent, especially when you put a more physical defender on him, and that switch, like you said, that the switch putting Jimmy Butler on him and saying, "Nah, Jimmy Butler's gonna be the one to stop him." That was a great decision by Eric Spoelstra. That
You
was an
should have did
excellent
that off the
decision.
top. You should have did that off the top.
Yeah, for sure. And so you talked about Joker the third quarter, 18 points in the third quarter. And honestly, the second quarter we saw Denver kind of come back and take the lead, but in that third quarter, that's when it felt like the Denver Nuggets had the game kind of won in a lot of spots. You know what I'm saying? It felt like they were going to break the game wide open and we was going to see a little bit of a repeat of game one. Why do you think we didn't see that tonight? Do you think it was Miami just playing better, or do you think it was something with Denver that held them back from doing that?
This Miami, that was Miami's seventh game coming back from down double digits to win in the playoffs. This is what Miami does. Miami's not going to stop fighting. Miami could be down by 40 in the fourth quarter, and they're going to play the exact same pace, the
Right.
exact same intensity. They're not going to slow down. They're always going to keep pressing. Even with game one, they only lost by 13, but we both agreed that game was way worse than 13.
Yeah.
But it's because they kept their foot on the gas is what made it look better.
Right.
I knew Miami wasn't going to die. I didn't imagine Duncan Robinson was going to come out and score 10 points that quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, by hook or crook, it's the finals, man. Get it how you live.
Right. So
as long as you get it.
Yeah, I agree with you. The finals, when you in the finals and you in a dog fight, you gotta scratch, you gotta claw for every single
You just
bucket,
win.
rebound, assist, whatever it is. And Miami did that tonight. I'm very impressed with how they won, especially it being in Denver, man. Because Denver, like you said, Q, the first team to beat them at home like this, that's impressive. Especially, like I said, the way they played game one, man. I'm happy for Miami. I think they needed this game. They not even if they would have lost this game, I still think they needed a game that could show, we can hang with these dudes.
Yeah, man. Miami got too much. They got too much, for lack of a better words, they got too much nuts. Just they got too much. They got their balls are too big to damn go out like that. That was not happening.
Right.
They weren't gonna get, even if they got swept, they weren't gonna be embarrassed for 4 games. They was gonna make something shake.
Right. So we've talked a lot about Miami so far. Let's talk a little bit about Denver and some of the things that you saw from them this game. Jokic had 41, balled out in the third quarter. Like I said, 18 points. Cody Zeller, God bless you. You couldn't stop that. But I'm looking at the stats right now. Michael Porter Jr. only 5 points. Aaron Gordon only had 12. KCP only had 6. What are some things from the Denver Nuggets that you saw tonight that you think contributed to this loss?
Well, it's possible that we saw a little glimpse of how Jokic dependent they possibly are.
Yeah.
Potentially. Could those guys on that team get their own buckets without Jokic facilitating it for them? Jamal Murray, maybe.
Yeah.
Everybody else, the Miami Heat is kind of showing us a little bit that if you actually play some defense on them boys and just give Jokic a lane, do what he want to do, you can neutralize that a little bit.
Right.
Aaron Gordon was a huge part of game one and a big reason of why that lead grew so much on them the first time. Jamal Murray, I don't worry about Jamal Murray. I think he's gonna catch his groove eventually. We saw at the end of that fourth quarter that he was one bounce away from us still being watching this game. Possibly, we still might be watching this game if he hit that shot. I thought it was going down, but I'm not necessarily worried about Denver because I think just as Miami made their adjustments, Denver's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be constant adjustments until it comes down, I think, to the very – I think it's going to be about adjustments until it comes towards, a sixth, maybe even a seventh game into where, the best players will just show up. And then by then, I just always figured by then Jokic would just be the ultimate factor by then.
Right,
But
right.
um, just for tonight, they Miami Miami unlocked something a little bit. Like maybe those guys around Jokic can't create their own shots unless they get it distributed for them. Maybe.
That's a good point.
We ain't seen anybody else press them like that this postseason.
Right. That's an excellent point. And that's kind of how I was feeling, in watching this game. I felt like Jokic, them saying, all right, if Jokic gonna beat us, he gonna have to score. It just felt like you said, like the other guys struggled in creating for themselves. And so much of the Denver Nuggets offense is Jokic playing point guard at center. Like it's a wild theory to think about, you know what I'm saying? But Jokic is such a dominant passer that if you take him and say, "Look, dog, you can't pass like that, man. You score, you have your 40. 40 points off twos, you got it." But it was the other guys tonight that just, like Christian Brown, he had his flash in that second quarter. I was like, all right, okay, he getting it. He making sure that the team is keeping that morale up. But it seemed like there was nobody else on the team that had that sense of urgency tonight in terms of being able to stay locked in the entire time. It was almost like when they would do something and kind of score on Miami, and it's like, all right, we about to take control. Miami will come back down, hit a three, and it was just like, man, really? Like we thought we just got them.
And I believe that why Jokic took over so much in the third quarter, I think he could tell his teammates didn't have it tonight.
Yeah.
I think he personally, on purpose, put his foot on the gas and tried to kill Miami in the third quarter, because he could tell his teammates just didn't have it tonight, and he wanted to just go ahead and he was at some points we were watching him bringing the ball up the court
Yeah.
and just taking on 5 people. It was working. It was working, but at some point I could tell that Jokic had made up in his mind, whether the coach had told him or not. I feel like he made up in his mind that he was going to damn near empty the tank at the end of that third quarter and then sit down at the beginning of the fourth.
Right. Right.
And hope that he had a big enough cushion that his team could sustain it. Again, nobody's expecting Duncan Robinson to come out and score 10 points like that. He wasn't,
Yeah.
I wasn't, the entire world wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe Duncan Robinson was, clearly. But nah. He turned up in the third quarter on purpose. I could tell. I was like, you never see Jokic shoot 10 straight possessions in a row.
Yeah. He dominated. That third quarter, it was almost just like Miami had no answer for him. Like
No.
literally no answer. And they tried with Zeller, they tried with I think they tried a little bit with Love in that third quarter. But when Bam was out the game, because I think Bam was out the game a lot of that third quarter, right?
He got into a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, he had gotten into some foul trouble, and Jokic took advantage of that. And I think that's going to be a big part for the Nuggets going forward in this series, is really taking advantage of Bam being on the bench just because of the defensive impact it seems like he's having so far in this series.
I think they're going to look to get him to foul trouble more. That's
Yeah.
what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to look to get him to foul trouble more. Miami was, but the sneaky part was, man, Miami was okay with Jokic going off, though.
Yeah.
Because nobody else was.
Yeah.
It's that ball movement that kills you with Denver. It ain't Jokic that kill you. Jokic, if anything, tonight proved more why he's the most valuable player. Because, without him, those guys, a lot of those guys can't make offense for themselves.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon and KCP and Michael Porter Jr., those guys, they aren't Jamal Murray. They can't create off the dribble.
Right. So, we've seen game one, where Denver dominated game one for the most part. Game two, Miami has come back and they won. They tied the series up 1-1. And they showed, hey, we got a fighting chance here. Don't sleep on us. We got a fighting chance. What is something that you expect to see in game three from Denver to counteract the adjustments that Miami made?
Hmm. I think they're definitely gonna come out with more of a. I think Jokic is definitely gonna come out with more of a pass first mentality.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely gonna come out. They what I feel like what got their attention is that intensity. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna come back out with that game one intensity again
Mm-hmm.
on the defensive end. They're gonna have more hustle. I fully expect to be more aggression back on Aaron Gordon's part for Game 3,
Yeah.
and I think that's who they're gonna use a lot to get Bam in foul trouble is Aaron Gordon. That's how I think they're gonna Aaron Gordon. I think they're gonna use Aaron Gordon and Jimmy Aaron Gordon to get Jimmy and Bam in foul trouble. I can see that happening, and they'll definitely have a better answer for that zone tonight. Because you're right, they were for whatever reason thrown off by that zone. Miami's been doing that the entire playoffs, so y'all should have plenty of tape on that.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you a lot. I think that Aaron Gordon is going to be a big factor. I think Michael Porter Jr. He got to step up. Whether it's
He
defensively, we
does
know that he's not the greatest defender,
reliability. He got to be able to score.
but if he ain't going to defend, he got to be able to score, like you just said, Q. Because if not, what is he out there for? Like let's be real here. What is he out
Nothing.
there for? For not right for nothing.
Nothing.
And if he wants to be looked at like a third option, because I really do believe that's what he is for that team. He is their third option on offense. He got to come out and play like it. He can't have these lapses where he's just there. You know what I'm saying? Like it his game
Yeah.
don't fit that. His game don't fit that way. And he's such a key factor for the Denver Nuggets. I don't want to say he's more important than Murray because I mean clearly you can't really say that.
No,
But in a lot of ways,
he's valuable.
right? In a lot of ways, if he doesn't score for them, they have a lot of trouble getting offense. A lot of trouble.
Yeah. And I agree with you. If he was a better defensive player, he could afford to not play that well on offense some nights.
Right.
But I mean, if he ain't playing no defense, he don't need to be in the rotation. The offense, he don't need to be in the rotation. He's that big of a liability on defense.
Right. Right. It's crazy. Just like I said, it's crazy just to see the differences between game one and game two, because after game one we was all really sitting here kind of thinking like, man, like what is Miami gonna do? Do they really got an answer? And tonight they showed, we got the answers. We
Toughness was the answer.
yeah.
That's what it is. I truly don't know what's going to happen in Game 3. What I fully expect is a split in Miami. I don't know who's going to win which game.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins Game 3 is going to lose Game 4. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I expect another split down in Miami, and this is going to definitely be interesting from there.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I think whoever wins game 3 will lose game 4, and we're gonna see, because they're taking it back to Miami. I think that's going to be a factor. Playing in Miami in the playoffs like this, that's a tough place to play. That is a tough place to play.
It is.
And also with the team and the roster that Miami has, they will feed off of that home crowd a lot.
Role players play better on at home, man.
Yes. And for me, I just think that going into game 3, Denver has to find creative ways to get other people involved outside of just, hey, yo, because we're going to give you the ball in the post, or we're going to give you the ball, you know what I'm saying, at the free throw line, and you find the people. No, they going to have to run some plays. They going to have to really sit down and say, look, we going to, some backdoor screen, some screens, some backdoor cuts, something. They can't just rely on Jokic bring the ball down and him just making the decision himself. It's going to have to be the coaching on offense that changes this series back in Denver's favor.
For sure, man. I think it will behoove them in Game 3 to kill some of that confidence in Gabe Vincent and Duncan Robinson and the rest of them. Boy, Caleb Martin didn't do anything the whole game and had a huge three at the end of that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
it would behoove them to kill that confidence in them, because it could get very, very tight if the Miami boys get their confidence back up under them. That could be very, that could be very interesting, is what
yeah,
I'll say.
yeah. I agree with you. So, let's go ahead and get to these predictions for Game 3. who do you got winning game 3, and how do you see it kind of playing out, Q?
It's tough for me to call game 3. Um, I think I'm gonna roll in game 3. I might be rolling. I'm gonna go with Denver in game 3.
I'll go with Denver. Okay.
I'm gonna go with Denver in another close one in game 3 because I just think the adequate adjustments are gonna be made for game 3. I think we're gonna have another close one though.
Okay. Okay. So game 3, I think once again, I may actually pick Miami to win game 3. I think that a game like this for Miami to win in Denver like they did, because although Denver was in controlling spots, Miami was able to build up their confidence to where they know we can control certain areas of this series. And I think they was able to build that confidence up tonight by winning a game in Denver. And sometimes when you have a team like Miami that's, of course they got Jimmy Butler, they got Bam Adebayo, but everybody else is kind of role players. And a lot of times in playoff series, role players, they build on confidence. And I think tonight, playing the way they did in Denver and going back home, that's the other key factor, is them going back home. I really do think they have a good shot of carrying over this momentum, especially if they play that zone that they did in the fourth quarter, just because Denver didn't have an answer. And honestly, based on how their offense is, it's going to be hard for them to find an answer within another game, I think. I really do. And so I think it's going to be a close game like it is now, or like it was tonight, excuse me. But I think I got Miami winning game 3.
I I would not be surprised at all by Miami winning game 3. Like I said, I feel like it's gonna be a split. So whoever wins game 3, I think it's gonna lose game 4. But I think it's Denver. I think Denver, like you know how Miami picked up their intensity on the defensive side on the second
Mm-hmm.
game. I think Denver is gonna do the same thing for game 3. I think that was enough shock to the system for them tonight. And Denver has proven themselves very, very well at bouncing back
Yeah, that's
throughout
true.
these playoffs. They've bounced back wonderfully throughout these playoffs. So I think Aaron Gordon will be a big part of game 3 and their defensive intensity. I
Okay.
think will pick back up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And like, this has been an exciting series so far. I can't wait to see what happens in game 3. I think, like we both said, game 3 is going to be a close, exciting game. And man, it feels good to have a tie series in the finals, man. It makes things feel so much better going into the rest of the series.
Truth be told, I'm a hater. I was out here for Miami to get swept. But for the sake of my pick, I wanted to go six. So I'm not mad at it though, man. I'm not mad. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be fun. It'll be very interesting though. I think it'll be more interesting for us to talk about if Miami wins game 3 though. I
Yeah.
think that'll make everything more interesting,
Yeah.
especially if Max Strus shoots like that again. We are in for something real, real, real spicy for game 4 if that happens.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I cannot wait to see it. And we gonna be here for that too. We gonna be live after game 3 as well. We gonna break it down. We gonna talk about it. And I can't wait. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be exciting. I'm real excited for the rest of this series based on tonight. And yeah, man. So before we head on out of here, Q, you got anything that you want to plug? Anybody want to shout out? Anything like that?
No, man, we go, you already know. Right here on the broadcast network, we got it all for you, man.
Oh yeah. Oh
From the
yeah. No.
top to the bottom, from the Rudy to the Tootie.
Oh yeah. No
We
doubt. No
right here
doubt.
for you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And please, everybody that wants to keep up with the broadcast network, you see the at the bottom of the screen. Please be sure to follow that. And if you want to follow me personally on Twitter, it's Life is a Broadcast. You see that on the screen as well. And like I said, we're gonna be back here for game 3. Can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to see it. And yeah, this series is
Like,
fun.
comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Follow all the teams, man. All the
Yes.
teams.
Yes. Yes. Please do all that. And yeah, this is fun. This is interesting, man.
Gonna
This
be
series got
interesting,
real
bro.
interesting.
The game three is gonna be that one. It's gonna let us know a whole lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we will catch y'all after game 3. That is Wednesday night. We will be live on the broadcast network, like I just said. And like I said before, follow, like, share, subscribe, and we will catch y'all later. God bless y'all.
God bless.
Peace.
Peace.